Hello everyone, my name is Kayla McFall, and today I'll be talking about the communication between parent and child. A healthy relationship between a parent and child can help develop key communication skills that children can use later on in life. In this speech, I will be discussing the best ways for parents to communicate with their children at the ages of infancy to toddler, grade school age children, and teenagers. The first point that I'll be discussing is communicating with infants and toddlers. Che Yu and Linda B. Smith both write in the Embodied Attention and Word Learning by Toddlers that it's important to give descriptions of the objects and activities or events that are happening around infants and toddlers. This helps them gain a sense of awareness. It's also important when communicating with infants and toddlers that you use different types of grammar and words, as well as continually using the same ones daily so that they can pick up on this vocabulary. Engaging in activities or objects that interest infants and toddlers can help them stay more involved in what's going on in front of them, which can help them to develop communication skills. Another source writes that building a sense of trust and understanding makes the child want to communicate with parents more. Bates and O'Connell go on to say that it's important for parents to help children label their emotions so they can express them on their own. Whenever a child is sad, saying, "Are you sad?" or whenever a child is upset or mad, being like, "Oh, you're mad," helps them to label what they're feeling and be able to express that back to you. The next point I'll be talking about is communicating with grade school age children, which is around the age of kindergarten to 8th grade. Gary Grills writes in Tips for Effective Communicating with your school age child that listening with your whole body is important. When children are at the grade school age, they understand what's going on around them more so than when they're infants or toddlers. So if you are preoccupied in doing something else and they're telling you something, a story maybe, and you just kind of, yeah, okay, you brush it off, they can understand that you aren't interested in what they're saying, which makes them less likely to communicate how they're feeling to you again. So it's important to acknowledge your child's feelings and see the situation through their eyes as they're telling it to you. As well as doing this, you should avoid shaming your child whenever they tell you things and making them feel inferior to you. And you should encourage your child to think proactively about solutions to what's going on. Whenever they come to you for problems, you should help them think what they should do for the next time this happens. This will help them when they're out with their friends having conversations. They'll be able to come up with a solution for the problem on their own without having to come back to you and ask you what they should do. The next point I'll be talking about is communicating with teenagers. Sarah Trobes writes in Communicating Effectively with Teenagers, which is an online article, that it's important when dealing with teenagers to practice what you preach. Whenever you give rules or parameters that your teenager has to follow, it's important that you also try and follow those. And it's important whenever your teenager comes to you and is trying to tell you things about their life that you listen without judgment or criticism. Criticizing your child every time they bring something to you makes them less likely to want to talk to you about those problems. It's also important when children are in their teenage years to treat them as if they are the young adults that they are. So that means that you need to understand as a parent to only take action when it's asked for. Instead of trying to go over your teenager's head and do things for them, step back and let them try and do the task themselves and come up with a solution. In conclusion, communication between parent and child can be a challenging process, it can be full of trial and error to find the best communication skills that work for each individual. Developing communication skills at infancy, at grade school age, and in your teenage years is something that will benefit you throughout the rest of your entire life. As a parent, instilling these core values in younger children can help them later on when they're trying to be successful